Hey, you guys want to do some drop-off line sports? I'm low on battery power, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker than normal. We have a lot to complain about this morning, right? I mean, I know the holiday seasons are here. A lot of you are probably hitting Christmas vacation here, right? Literally. But last night was terrible. And what I did for my show is I always try to do here. I try to stay as fair and balanced as possible, and not using that term and being completely BS about it, but as fair and balanced as possible. So yesterday, what I talked about regarding the Cavaliers game, right? Chad, Heath, Walt, good morning to you guys. Brock, hello. Jeff Seltzer, good morning. What I talked about was more about how the Pacers played, and I didn't even look into the horse bleep non-call at the end, right? Because I didn't even play into that, even though I love to, because if there's anything I love to do, it's to rip NBA officiating, because in large part, it's a huge, big, fat bucket full of suck, right? Normally. Anyway, and all we do is really, I mean, it's almost like we look at NBA officiating and we go, hey, you know what, that's just what they do. Hey, baloney. Anyway, so I read this after the Cavaliers game as, hey, this is more on the Pacers. The heck with that lack of a call there down the stretch. Doesn't matter. That was on them. Right. So you score 11 points in the fourth quarter last night. You lose a 17-point lead in the second half. And that was really terrible by the Pacers. There's no doubt about that. All right? No doubt. They cost themselves. Vic struggled down the stretch again. The ISO play wasn't working. Triple team turned the ball over. 8-second count, which was basically about 8 1/10 of a second there. We'll get to that in just a moment. We'll get to that probably longer than it took that call to be made. Anyway, all that in mind, and you lose that game, and you look in the mirror, and you point the finger to yourself. Good morning, Colleen. Morning, Brian, Josh. Let me tell you this. I don't care what it is. I don't care when it is. I don't care if you don't want the officials to decide the game. I don't care. When you're down 3, and Bojan, as he did last night, goes up for a 3, and you get hacked on the wrist to the point where the ball flies out of bounds, and you get this big dumbass, Ed Malloy, standing right next to it, and he swallows his whistle because he has no balls whatsoever, that's egregious. That's a joke, right? I know. Listen, I watch basketball. I know basketball. You see all the, good morning, Corey. You see all these other situations where things didn't go right, and you look in the mirror and you blame it on the team. But that whistle has to be blown. That is a big, fat, stupid, Ed Malloy has sucked his entire career. Bucket of horse crap right there. That's what that is. BS. You know what? Bojan probably goes to the free throw line and gacks one of those free throws, right? You got to hit all 3 to tie, right? Hey, Eric Waxler down in Tampa, man. Good to see you in Florida, my buddy. Bill Kirsch, good morning, Jeff. So he probably goes to the free throw line and gacks one of those free throws anyway, right? But still, swallowing your whistle right there after, I can understand if you're close and there's just a little bit of, but a stinking hatchet job hack on the wrist has to be called. Therefore, today it has to be made fun of, all right? You got to blow your whistle. Unless you're a complete dumbass like Ed Malloy, who has sucked his entire career to the tune, we kind of make fun of it all the time. I mean, that's bad. As bad as the Pacers were offensively in the fourth, that non-call by the stoneless Ed Malloy was worse. That's it. That's it. That's what we're talking about later on today. Hey, my blood pressure is not high. I can't stand Ed Malloy, man. There's like 3 or 4 officials in the NBA I can't stand, and he's right there with them. Just absolutely 0 stones, right? And people said, well, he had the stones to make the 8-second call on Vic. It doesn't take any stones to do that when you're in a home. I mean, he got a big round of Canadian applause there. So, ooh, yeah. It doesn't take any stones to do that. It was going to take stones, right? And you know he saw it. You want to know how he saw it? He was standing 2 feet away. The Raptors bench saw it, didn't they? You think Greg Monroe? Did you see Greg Monroe's reaction? He knew. What? They knew. He knew. He just didn't have any balls. 0. None. And they're going to come out today and say that it was the wrong call. It's the way it goes. But again, you can still play both sides of it here. You can say that the Pacers stunk in the fourth, should have won, they didn't, blah, blah, blah. All right. doesn't make you a homer. It makes you I'm being a realist. That was an egregious missed call. That's being a realist. There's no homer out of it. There's no way. You're just making sure you still get inside. I don't give a crap about that. That is the absolute truth. And you guys, people tell us nowadays we're always searching for the truth, right? That's the absolute truth. The Pacers score 11 points in the fourth. Should have scored more. Should have won that game. But the whistle should have been blown. Well, you can't leave it up to the officials to decide. I'm not leaving it up to the officials to decide. I'm leaving it to the officials to do their damn job. How about this? Do your job. Do your job and blow the whistle. I mean, you blew it on the 8 seconds. I mean, literally, it was like 8 seconds, 8 and a tenth of a second, right? I mean, it's like, hurry up and blow this whistle. On that call, just do your job. Do your job. You're looking right at it. Do your job. I mean, here's the other thing, too. And if you can't do your job right, I mean, if Greg Monroe can see it on the Raptors bench over there and respond like that and see there was a call, it was a non-call, then you shouldn't be blowing whistles in the NBA. And you sure as hell aren't the best in the world, as I've been told by some. Well, one. The best in the world, yeah. JD, good morning. Colleen, hello. Jennifer, hello. Heath Bartlett, Jay's on board here. Thank you, guys. Brock Hubble says, since the NFL is starting to take responsibility for non-calls or bad calls and suspending refs, do you think the NBA will ever do that? Well, you know what's kind of funny about that, Brock? The NBA, here's how it is, right? When we get to a call in the NBA, we kind of laugh it off, don't we? You think that's kind of our fault? We kind of laugh it off and go, oh, that's just what they do. James Harden, 5 steps. You know what? They get 5 steps in the NBA. Hey, the continuation. We kind of laugh it off. We don't laugh anything off in the NFL. We don't even care if we like that team or not. You don't laugh anything off. I mean, it's this guy's got to go. This guy's too old. This guy can't keep up. The rules are there are too many rules. The rule book is too thick. I mean, we make all these excuses up about how something's got to be done. And hell, in the NBA, we just kind of laugh about it and move on to the next night, right? And I know it's because of the schedule. You got 16 games compared to an 82-game schedule, but the NBA has always been like that. I mean, we don't give. That's why I'm giving the NBA what it deserves when it comes to officiating. It is not the best in the world, and a lot of it really sucks. We just kind of, since the 1980s, have been laughing it off. Oh, yeah. Oh, James Harden got 5 steps. Well, that's just what they do because he's a star. Let me tell you this, too, by the way. Let me give you, I was going back and forth with people on Twitter last night. This is going to calm me down a little bit. Hold on. Gordon Lightfoot's going to calm me down just a little bit here. Anyway, I love me some Gordon Lightfoot. All right, quickly. Had that non-call happened in a Colts game against T.Y. Hilton, well, I don't know, like it did last Sunday, right? When he got mauled and mugged on a pass interference. Oh, nobody's making excuses of, well, the Colts just could have done this. No, everybody's coming off the top rope, aren't they? Oh, man, the NFL, their officials suck. They're too old, blah, blah, blah. But then last night, and while I think anybody that's ever followed a bouncing basketball understands the Pacers sucked offensively in the fourth, but when he got hacked, and you don't call that, we all just kind of laugh at, oh, yeah, it's just the Pacers and it's just the NBA. Yeah, my ass. No. I mean, everybody around here would have lost their stinking mind if last night's situation would have been T.Y., just like you did last weekend when it was T.Y., and it wasn't even at the end of the game. Just saying. I'll bring that up later on today for you. Hey, thank you a lot, Gordon Lightfoot. Good morning, Coons. My man Ben's in Greenwood here. Josh said, had we lost the game, the city would have lost their mind. Oh, man, it is such a difference between how we view NBA officiating and the NFL. NFL is the end of the damn world, and everybody needs to be fired. In the NBA, we laugh it off. Oh, yeah, it's funny. Isn't that funny? Oh, yeah, LeBron James steps over the free throw line when he makes free throws. Oh, that's against the rules. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, my ass. Hey, Todd, good morning. Walt. And believe me, you know me, I love the NBA. I do. But I'm just being honest here. Now, there was more to the game last night than just the Pacers gacking that offensively down the stretch. There was. Rick Clark's watching. Good to see you, Rick. Kevin Coons, Ed Malloy is so awful, constantly awful. I need to come up with my top 5 NBA officials that suck today. And that's why I make fun of the whole best in the world all the time. The best in the world. I'm going to tell you what, if that's the best in the world, the ballless, you knew he wasn't going. He swallowed that whistle right then. And again, Bojan probably misses a free throw, right? And we're probably talking about that. And there are a lot of other things that happened in the fourth that led to it. But that's the call you got to make. You got to make that call. I mean, that's just simple. That's officiating 101. I mean, that's not deciding the game. That's just doing your damn job. Jamie Todd writes this: do you think everyone would laugh it off if it was a playoff game? Hey, Jamie, here's the thing. No, we just saw it last week. And you're right. NBA-wise, nobody's laughing that off. But this is just a point I'm trying to make to those out there that every time I make a joke about the officiating in the NBA or best in the world or Ed Malloy, they have to step in and say, like, it's the John Wooden pyramid of success, that you decide your own fate and you can't let the officials decide it. And listen, that was a huge moment, and it was a swallowed whistle, and it was an egregious foul that should have been whistled accordingly. And I'm just telling you, if that were an NFL situation, just like it was last week with T.Y., everybody around here would be going off. It would not care whatsoever, just be going nuts. But it's the NBA, so everybody laughs it off. Oh, yeah, NBA. Yeah, those officials are funny. There is just a difference, and that's what I'm trying to make people understand right here. There is a difference. You've got to be screaming and yelling if that were T.Y., because last week you did, right? I mean, especially in a Colts game that they lost. And I know they only have 16 games per regular season, and it's different than 82. But that was a big one in an 82-game season last night. That was a big moment. So, I don't know. I don't think that's one you should laugh off. And listen, we can make fun and we can rip on Vic and rip on the offense late all we want, but you also got to rip on the NBA and Ed Malloy. That is 2 nights in a row, these guys down the stretch. And it's not deciding the game, it's calling it's calling the game. It's doing your job. These guys aren't doing their job. If you guys thought that NFL officials weren't doing their job, you guys would be going back. You know that. Badass crazy. All right, what am I doing here? Josh Gordon suspended again, stepping away from substance abuse relapse. That should surprise 0 people. Stern and Silver are to blame, making stars untouchable and telling refs how games should be called. TV Teddy. Hey, I will say this. Ted Valentine would have had the balls. He'd have blown the whistle last night in that situation. Right? He'd have blown the whistle and moonwalked all the way to the scorer's bench. Ed Malloy just doesn't have his stones. He's not going to make that call. He sure as hell not going to make that call on the road. No way. That last night was a joke. Anyway, that's just my thought on it for some out there that thought, well, it shouldn't be the officiating we're talking about. Yeah, it should. It's 2 consecutive games at the end of games. It should be. Where the NBA is going to come back today and say, hey, that was wrong, like they did yesterday. We should also be talking about that, right? All right, any questions while I'm here? See you, Kevin Kuntz. I hope your back feels better, buddy. I do. I'm sorry, I turned down the Moody Blues in the background here. Yeah, TV Ted would have blown that whistle and moonwalked all the way to Drake over there. Easy. What else we got? Jim Wyatt's watching Brandon Reef. Thank you, buddy, for that. I appreciate it. Joel says, I need to start an officials league where young out-work basketball players can become NBA refs. Just do your job. Oh, you just made a mistake. Oh, it's life or damn death in the NFL, man. Eric wants to know if there are any updates on Terry Hutchins. I like Terry Hutchins a great deal. I have not heard anything positive, but I don't think it's in my place to really probably talk about it too much until it becomes public. But from what I've told, there's not a lot of positive going on, and I certainly hope that we're thinking about Terry and his family. I certainly hope that changes. I do. He says, I hope Phinisee isn't out as long as Race Thompson was. Yeah, it kind of worries me last night, Heath. Archie said that he was going to be, I think his quote was out a while, right? Going to be out a while. Michael Speakers down in Greene County. That's awesome. We're trying to keep Kevin Kuntz in Indiana. Heard it from a friend who heard it from another. You've been messing around. Kurt says you would get a better whistle at a Bedford. I'm telling you what, you probably would get a better whistle at the Sawmill. Exactly. I mean, if anybody in high school ever played at Bedford North Lawrence, you probably at some point in time got completely screwed out of your mind, right, by the officiating. I think you get a better whistle last night at Bedford. That's true. Eric, good morning, man. Timothy Parrish. Hey, I got to run. My phone's running out of juice here. Let's keep up the conversation, too. And I'll bring this back up at 3 o'clock later on today. Over on Twitter, I'm going to give you a shot at KISS tickets coming up in just a minute. More Slayer today. I'm live at Coach's downtown. Me, Brent Halverson, it's Larceny Locks, Luna Azul, shots coming up from Coach's Tavern downtown. That is from 3 until 6. Tomorrow, Thompson House, 31 and Thompson Road, Southside, Bud Light Blue Friday, and we'll have Giants Colts tickets to give away. Right on. Right on. Wesley Deere, good morning. Heath Bartlett says, have you seen Adam Sandler's tribute song to Chris Farley? I did. Pretty good. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching Drop Offline Sports. With you later on today at 3. You guys go ahead and jump on board with some really strong calls today. I'll talk at you then.